What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com, and I'm back again for my second week of Kentucky Derby Top 5 horses. And, you know, I don't have any changes this week, and I know Instant Coffee won the Kentucky Jockey Club, and I thought about putting that horse in the top 5. End of the day, I've got him ranked like 6th or 7th, but his win does kind of influence the top 5 a little bit as far as horses that have already defeated him. Listen, I'll break down Instant Coffee real quick. Even though I don't have him in the top 5, he is right there on the cusp. And we should talk about him a little bit because he is the most recent horse, obviously. So Instant Coffee gets the job done in the Kentucky Jockey Club despite a very wide trip on both turns. He was stuck pretty wide. He definitely ran further than anybody else in the race. That's the good news. The bad news is a lot of his main challengers didn't have great trips either. They saved ground, but they also had nowhere to run in the stretch. So you go back and watch that. A lot of trip trouble. Red Route 1 had trip trouble. Curly Jack didn't really get stopped, but at the same time was stuck inside the whole time. Didn't really get a chance to run. Kind of was trying to run up on heels on the backstretch. He wasn't as comfortable as you would like to see. Also remember, running inside of horses, getting stopped in the lane, stuff like that for 2-year-olds, really tough to overcome. These horses are just learning, just trying to figure it all out. So even though Instant Coffee got a wide trip, he also got a clear trip. And so that was an advantage over a lot of those other horses. Don't have him ranked. I do think Instant Coffee is kind of right there in the mix. So don't forget about that horse. All right, let's go over to top 5. It's the same as last week, but we'll go over it and kind of had some new bullet points on things we've kind of learned about these horses. Forte is number 1 again for the second straight week. And listen, he beat Instant Coffee by 7 when he faced him 2 races back in the Breeders' Futurity. Instant Coffee comes back and wins a Grade 2 Stakes. I mean, it further advances Forte up there, that number 1 spot. He's number 1 for now. Extra Anejo, that's a horse we thought, he's number 2, by the way, on the list. That's a horse we thought would run maybe in the Kentucky Jockey Club. Steve Asmussen opted to go to Fairgrounds and skip out on the Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes. It sounds like he's going to run December 26th, the day after Christmas, in the Gun Runner Stakes at Fairgrounds. That is not set in stone, but that does sound like where his next start is planned to be. So the number 2 horse on the list, Extra Anejo, an impressive maiden special weight winner, looking to go to the Gun Runner next time out, most likely at Fairgrounds on December 26th. The 3rd horse on the list is Loggins. I almost moved Loggins up to number 2 on the list because if you remember in the Breeders' Futurity, it came down to a neck, basically, between Forte and Loggins. Loggins was inside of Forte. He was a smaller horse than Forte. He may have got bumped a little bit by Forte, so he may have been the best horse in the Breeders' Futurity. Of course, Forte number 1 on the list, won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile in his next start. Loggins taking a little bit of time off before restarting, let's say, for his 3-year-old season on the Kentucky Derby Trail. So, listen, another horse, Instant Coffee, comes back and wins the Kentucky Jockey Club. It makes Loggins look that much better. As I'll remind you one more time, Loggins and Forte beat Instant Coffee by 7 lengths in the Breeders' Futurity. Number 4 on the list is Cave Rock. You don't want to forget about him. You don't want to, be too down on him because he was a huge favorite in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He did have the best numbers coming into that race. He just struggled a little bit in that one. Got second still deserves to be on the list. We'll see how he comes out of that race. There is room for improvement for him, and maybe we will see it. And number 5, the other Bob Baffert horse on the list is still Arabian Knight. I still think his upside is a little bit higher than a horse like Instant Coffee at this point. I want to make sure to be clear. We're sitting in November 27th as I record this, so things change overnight right now. But Arabian Knight, I do like the potential. I think this horse was a very, very impressive winner in a maiden special weight at Keeneland on Breeders' Cup Day. I think, like I said, he's going to move forward and be pretty tough. So Arabian Knight, a horse I have pretty high on that list as well. Last thing on Instant Coffee, forgot to mention, the horse receives an 82 buyer for the win in the Kentucky Jockey Club. Another reason to kind of not get overly excited about him just yet. But again, it's early and they improve with each start a lot of times on this trail. All right, to recap, Forte number 1, Extra Anejo number 2, Loggins number 3, Cave Rock 4, and Arabian Knight comes in at number 5. All right, guys, that's the Kentucky Derby top 5 for this week. Listen, we got the Remsen coming up on December 3rd. So I'll be back next week to update this list. We'll see if anybody out of that Remsen Stakes kind of impresses us. Remember, over the years, the Remsen Stakes kind of been made fun of. However, last year, Mo Donegal won. Zandon was second. Mo Donegal ended up winning the Belmont Stakes. Zandon was a player all year long in these big races. So don't take the Remsen for granted. Listen, it's just the luck of the draw sometimes how those horses come out of that and what races produce what. The Remsen was pretty strong last year. We'll see if he can do it again this year. So a lot to look forward to this weekend. And like I said, I'll be back next week to update this list. All right, guys, thanks very much. Hit like if you liked the video. Hit subscribe if you want to get alerted anytime we do these Derby top fives. Spoiler alert, probably be every week up until the Kentucky Derby now. So you can come right back here for all the latest news on the Kentucky Derby. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
RacingDudes.com is your home for the best free picks for every race, every track across the country. We're ramping up for the 2023 Kentucky Derby, and we want you to join us in the fun. Subscribe to Racing Dudes YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a single video. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.